Hello, I am Simulator Deck, and welcome back to American Truck Simulator. It has been quite some time since we've been here. There's quite a few DLCs that have come out in the meantime since the last time we were here. Some of our map modifications, including heading to Mexico and heading to Canada, I've removed for now. So let's have a look in the job market and see what we've got available. So let's see where's available first before we go anywhere else. We can go to California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. So let's start from Portland and see what jobs we've got available. Now there are some new maps available in those states. We've driven in Oregon, we've driven in Washington, I think we've driven in Idaho, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada and California as part of the DLCs that were purchased with game. So if I go to Portland and let's see what we've got available. We've got 30,000 pounds of clothes from Portland, Oregon to San Diego, California. We've got used packaging from Portland to Cody in Wyoming. Toys, Portland, Oregon to Reno, Nevada. A wheel loader from Portland, Oregon to Boise, Idaho. Haul a truck chassis from Portland to Newport, both in Oregon. Waste paper from Portland to Pocatello in Idaho. Empty pallets from Portland to Santa Maria, California. A planter from Portland to Redding in California. A large reservoir tank in Oregon from Portland to Newport. Fertilizer from Portland to Kennewick in Washington. A ventilation shaft from Portland to Pocatello in Idaho. Another reservoir tank from Portland to Grand Coulee, Washington. Machine parts from Portland to Port Angeles in Washington. Soda ash from Portland to Newport. Industrial pallets from Portland to Astoria in Oregon. Scrap metals from Portland to Eugene in Oregon rather. Some more scrap metals to the delis. A local delivery in Portland for home accessories. And a local delivery in Portland for paper. Another local delivery in Portland for furniture. So why don't we go down to San Diego, because hopefully this will also take us through some of the new sections, because California was the original state, but what SCS are doing now is that they're going through and revamping the California map. So let's take that job. So we're heading from Portland to San Diego. It's Sunday morning at 9:11 a.m. And here we are in the truck.
An elite team has been assembled to guide your mission. Let's get started.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan Freeman. Now, I have to remember my shortcuts. And okay, so we go out to the right. So we're in a Volvo. So what have I got mapped? Oh, my controller's not working. That doesn't help. And it doesn't help that I'm using the wrong controller. So the only thing that was working there was the keyboard. It's because I picked up my Xbox controller instead of my PC controller. Okay, we're all working now. Alright, so having a look inside our Volvo. Alright. Let's go. It's been quite some time since we've driven a simulated truck. And I don't know what that noise is. Alright, off to the left.
Turn left.
Thank you, Morgan. So one mod that we do have installed is our Morgan Freeman voice navigation mod.
Turn left.
Alright, so it's Sunday morning now at our current pace, which is obviously not going to happen because we need to stop, etc. We're expected Monday morning just after 7:30. I'm not going to answer my mail now that I'm in the truck.
Keep right. And pin, turn right.
So we're going to be
Turn
heading on I-84.
Keep left.
Oh no, it's raining. But it doesn't even look dark outside. I think it's W
right.
for wipers. No. So what's been happening, if you're only watching me on American Truck Simulator, it's obviously been quite some time. But I'm back with a new computer. Not that we ever had too much trouble running the truck simulators on the old computer, but it makes it makes a difference to faster games, especially the most one I had was with GTA. But any sort of gain in computers is good. Any extra horsepower under the hood is good, so to speak.
Keep left.
Thank you, Morgan. Now, the reason I picked Portland to start from is because I like the city, basically, and what's the first thing I'm doing? I'm getting out of it. Portland's a city of many bridges. So I decided there's been a few maps officially added. I've added some truck DLC as well. So I thought we'll get back into American Truck Simulator and do a bit of that. Now I'm not going to say that it's unaltered because that's not really true, as we're now on I-5. So I've added Mr. Morgan Freeman as my navigator, and there's some other additions. There's a couple of actual train ones, which longer trains at level crossings.
Keep right.
There's a map which makes the navigation display look a bit more like Google Maps. But the real life company ones I've removed for a while because it's been quite some time since I've actually played and updated. I thought that I'd go back to, I'd say, 50% more vanilla than I was the last time that there was an episode. I removed all the extra map mods like Canadream, Viva La Mexico and that sort of stuff. I've removed them for now because I'm not sure how up to date they are with new versions of American Truck Simulator. So I'll do a bit of American Truck Sim for a while, head over to Europe, see how that's going, and then hopefully be able to reinstall updated versions of the Middle East and Japanese truck simulators, which I haven't kept in contact with for a while. I think I need to move over shortly. But there's another interesting reason why I am.
Keep left.
Thank you, Morgan. There's another interesting reason why I'm actually playing when I am, and that's because I've discovered a new trucking podcast. Now, I've liked trucks. I've never thought of truck driving as a career or anything like that. You see the trucks on the road. You know, I drive trains for a living. And so we're passing through Salem. And that's quite good. You know, it's nearly 30 years on the job, on the rails. But, you know, I've always seen and liked trucks and that sort of stuff. Never really been in a, you know, long distance truck like this, etc. I've got mates who are truck drivers. But I was listening to one of our local radio stations, and an overnight midnight to dawn radio show, that once a week talks to truck drivers, and of course truck drivers ring in because it's talkback. And they have a segment every Tuesday morning where the head of one of the road transport organisations representing truckers and truckies gets on and, you know, talks about issues and takes calls from truck drivers and that sort of stuff. And a podcast that was recommended to me was Copy Southbound, which is an interview show where various truck drivers are interviewed about their time in the industry and that sort of stuff, and I've been finding it very, very fascinating. And while I've been driving around, you know, it's good because they're really long form. You know, most of the episodes are over 2 hours long. So I can listen as I drive and that sort of stuff, and it's all good. And getting to hear various people who have been involved in the truck industry and transport industry for a long time and that sort of thing, and hearing about how I want to drive one of those chicken type trucks, that the small rigid truck that just passed us, when I'm still driving around just taking quick jobs and that sort of thing. But they talk to truck drivers of all sorts of ages. There's quite a few that are in their 80s and 90s, and they're still up for a chat and talk about the times that, you know, they're not necessarily driving now, and obviously they didn't have trucks like we're seeing now on the road, but they've had a long career. And you talk to some that are newer to the industry and that sort of stuff, and you always hear from the older guys, oh, it's a very different industry than what it was back in their day and that sort of thing. And I do find that sort of thing interesting. But one of the things that I found interesting that you hear repeatedly is back in previous times, even the 1970s, the 1980s, especially in the more country areas of Australia, you don't have the testing and the training for trucks that you do now. So a lot of them would learn to drive, or anything really, either in a paddock if they lived on a farm. You know, local streets, weren't many people around. Some people learn how to drive trucks in the depot that they were allowed to go to because, you know, their dad was in the industry or whatever. And you'd often find that it wasn't somebody from the traffic authority who would be doing the testing to see if you could drive a truck, or even a car for that matter, in those sort of times. In the country towns, it was the local cop, the local police officer. So you'd rock up to the police station, and the cop would drive you around, and that sort of, or you'd drive the cop around, and they'd give you a license for whatever you were going for. But one thing I found interesting with some of these old truck drivers is that, you know, policing and traffic enforcement's obviously a lot different in modern times compared to the times that I'm talking about. And often the cop would say to them something like, yeah, I've been watching you drive around town for ages. You know, I know your dad, I know you drive around town in the truck, and I know you can drive a truck, so here you go. What license classes do you want? And so there was one guy in particular that I'm thinking of. He had every box ticked for what class of truck that he wanted to drive. You know, no one had ever seen him drive half of those courses, half of those classes. The cop had probably seen him driving around in a, you know, a small rigid truck or a semi around, but that'd be about it. And here you go, son, here's your license. So very, very different times to, you know, the times now where you have to go ahead and, you know, do a multi-day course in some cases at a driving school or a especially for the heavy vehicles. You've got training companies that are specifically set up to instruct people on how to drive a truck of various sizes. So I thought that was interesting, listening to how it was different those days and how you often just spent time working in the workshop and polishing trucks and greasing them, oiling them, doing servicing on them, that sort of thing, and building your way up, and how it would be an honour to be driving with a company for quite some time and then getting given a new truck. So copy Southbound, where you hear your podcast. Another theme. We've got a way station coming up. Another theme is that you'll often hear the person say at the start, "Oh, I've got nothing to really talk about. I didn't do anything special or whatever." I can bypass the way station, thank you. We're getting sleepy already. It's nearly 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And how they often will get on the older guys, especially, who are doing fantastic to even understand what a podcast is and why the guy wants to talk to them in the first place. And then they'll say, "Oh, I've got nothing to say," and then you have a look at your podcast player and it's like, this podcast goes for 4.5 hours, so obviously you had something to say. But yeah, so copy Southbound, where any good podcast and some bad ones can be found. Check it out. And I'm certainly learning a bit more about the transport industry on wheels rather than rails. Now, speaking of being on rails, it's interesting to note with some of the train simulators that I have on Simulated Erc, some of them, and one in particular, Train Sim World, basically every year a new version comes out. And so if you have a look at my Steam library, not that I've got them all downloaded now because there's no point, you have the original Train Sim World. Actually, when I stop, if I think about it, I've actually got my Steam open on another part of my screen that I can see. Oh, but I'm going to have to scroll a bit, that's not going to work. But it's basically Train Sim World, Train Sim 2020, Train Sim 2, Train Sim 3, Train Sim 4. And so every year or so there's basically a new version. Sometimes you have to pay for the new version, sometimes you don't, and the new version is a way of getting new people in, and they'll have a new version will have 3 or 4. I'm going to move over and let this guy in. That's a big 10-4. Good buddy, got a copy of the Vortex? You're very welcome. Yeah, Vortex, I'll come inside in front of you in just a moment. Just simulating some CB talk there. There were some settings about CB talk that I could see on the settings here. I haven't looked into it, so I'm not sure anything about it. That could be a multiplayer thing, I'm not sure. But the point that I'm getting to with the Train Sim World is that there's, 4 or 5 different versions that I've got potentially downloaded via Steam. And a lot of the older stuff will still work on the newest version, so I only have to download those routes again and carry on with whatever the newest version is, in this case Train Sim World 4. Compare that to American Truck Simulator, and I think, and I'm trying to concentrate on the road here, need to watch my fuel situation too. I think it was first released in 2012. I could be wrong about that. But there's only been one American Truck Simulator. It's not as if it's been American Truck Simulator 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, etc. It's been the one American Truck Simulator base the whole time. Now that of course isn't to say that this is the 2012 version that I'm playing right now. There's been lots of additions made. For instance, I think I'm still in Oregon. Oregon obviously wasn't available in 2012, we'll use that as an example. And even the California map, which was the first map to be released, is different and is being upgraded. We do have some fuel coming up. So we'll jump off at this next exit. That's all off to the left. So there's only the one version of American Truck Simulator, but of course there's been lots of additions. Lots of additions to it. So you've got your various DLCs, you've got your various mods, etc. Alright, so we want fuel, so we're going to head off to the left.
Continue straight.
I'm going to get fuel, and that's one thing that the navigators don't get.
Keep right. 10, turn right. Turn right.
I'm going for fuel. So there's supposed to be fuel over there. There's the wall. There's the Warbird.
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left.
Alright, so we'll go get some fuel. It's 4:15 on Sunday afternoon. And it's actually directing us back to the interstate, but we need to get fuel, so we'll do that. Now, I don't know. Oh, it's actually not showing me. What am I looking for? Options. Gameplay. Oh, we can turn the rain sensor on. Automatic headlights will be handy. We don't want to open chat or show chat or convoys. Alright, I was looking for wipers earlier on. Walk mode now. So, on the world map, So there we are there. Now I've got a feeling that I'm in the wrong. In the wrong section for fuel. Because it used to show the
Keep right.
hang on,
And
Morgan.
then turn right.
Oh, it wants us to go in here. Rightio. Alright, so I'm going to fill the tank. Alright, so $975, 220 gallons. Diesel, $4.42 a gallon. So there's our truck. I need to remember, is it F1, F2 for mirrors? I want to get a couple of, yeah, that'd be a good screenshot. Alright, let's get back in the truck. Not a fan of the horn. Oh, so the one I went in before must have been the car one. So you go in here, and then if you need the rest, you just drive over here and park. Which makes sense. We won't rest yet. It's still daylight.
Keep left. And then turn left.
Oh, we got to do that, do we? Rightio.
Turn left.
It's been a while since I've driven anything simulated in America, so I've got to get used to the traffic light system again.
Keep left. And then turn left. Turn left.
Go away. Wasn't.
Keep right.
Oh, maybe
And
they're
then
doing
turn
the
right.
official cop thing where if it's yellow, you're supposed to stop. Even
Turn right.
even though you're in a truck. Alright, here we go. Well, so I was talking about map mods before and how in the past I've used map mods to be able to drive trucks in Japan and also trucks in the Middle East. There's another map model too, but I need to do further investigations before I do it. And it actually modifies it to be in Australia. Now I'm not sure if I'm able to get this without actually paying someone on Patreon. Need to do some more investigations, but I saw briefly a Jeff Faviano video where he was driving a truck in Australia in the outback, so that's cool. So I need to do some more investigation into that one. So we're coming up to another way station. Please pull in for inspection. Okie dokie. It still says that to pass the inspection. Vehicle gross weight 64,000 pounds, and I passed. I think it should say something like to submit to the inspection, not to pass the inspection, because you don't know if you're going to pass. You don't know if you're overloaded or you've got a defective vehicle or whatever. So I think that's wrong. I think I did notice that the last time in the previous series. Alright, so we'll get back up to speed. Inspection station 2 miles. All vehicles must stop. So this must be a leaving Oregon thing. Vehicles prepare to stop half a mile.
Keep right, and then exit right. Exit right.
Trucks off to the right. I like this, they've actually got the guy there. Hey buddy. I like this better. To start the agricultural inspection, stop and press inspection in progress. Inspection finished. You may continue driving. That's better. I like that. So that'll probably be the album art. Let's get back in the truck. F3. So we're now entering California. Driven through California before, not in a truck, but that's one thing that they do at their borders on the interstate. They will stop everyone and inspect you for fruits, etc. entering California. To protect their industry. Stop you bringing in nasties from other states. Now what would be cool is if they combined the weighbridge there and combine it, because we only stopped the weighbridge not so long ago. California's got some standards for their vehicles which may be different to other states. I don't know the technical sides of it, but there would be a perfect place to pick up a defective truck or an overloaded truck, even though I just did stop in Oregon at the weigh station before. That was 190 miles to Sacramento, capital of California. it's coming up to night time. So if I see a rest area, it's probably a good time to stop. Reading, next 4 exits. Pull off here.
Keep left and then continue straight.
Rest to the left.
Continue straight.
Now, I'm not sure about the whole turning right on red thing, especially in a truck, so I'm not going to. Unless somebody... the light's about to change anyway, so it's purely academic at this point.
Continue straight.
What was that?
Keep left and then turn left.
Right, let's have a look at the map. Whoops, at the map. Yeah, there's a rest area there, so if we turn right. Usually if there's a petrol, if there's a fuel station, there's usually a rest stop attached to it. It's nearly 9 PM, so it's more than reasonable. So if we were to keep driving, we're still 14 and a half hours away from our destination. We're currently in Redding, California.
Turn left. Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing. Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing.
That's a new one, Mr. Morgan Freeman. So we turn left at the lights. So our rest area is just over there. I don't even know what that was. Is the truck behind me too close or something? yes or no.
Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing. Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing.
Freightliner dealer discovered.
Make a U-turn. Let's keep our enemies guessing.
Oops. I'm guessing that was our rest area in the corner. Let's have a look at our parking job. Horrible. Alright, we'll get back on the truck. Straighten up. But I don't think we're actually officially resting yet. Alright, we are getting some rest. It is 7:30 in the morning. My parking's terrible. I'm not even going to look at it. But we will see you next time for the delivery. I've been Simulator. You've been wonderful. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.
There are those who would like to see you fail in your journey. That's not going to happen on my watch. Let's go.
Can we stop for ice cream, Bart? Can we stop for ice cream? Oh, it's the Max! Oh, the Portland Light Rail system, the Max, and that's what it actually looks like. How sweet! End of May, June, July, and now we're into August, so...
That was the longest night of my life.